It was the summer of, well, we would have just passed it, actually, the summer of 2009, and it would have been the middle of the month. So, you know what? I bet it's coming pretty much up to today. So, the middle of July 2009 was when I made a decision. And as you guys know, I woke up, as I like to say, in 2004 and really became a voracious learner and then started teaching what I learned, and I was teaching, really ever since. And it was the summer of 2009, and I had been working at a company for 25 years, I believe it was 25 years, as a contractor, and there was a downturn, so I was let go from that. So I decided I was going to do the business full time. This is what I always wanted to do. So I got really busy in the process of making things happen. And I can remember thinking this was in my mind going, okay, this is it. I have no other source of income because I was a contractor. So, there was no severance package or anything like that. And so I've got to make this business work. No matter how hard I tried, I could not make the business work. And then it was. So what is it, 22 years ago? I decided I was going to truly live what I teached. And of course, one of the classes I taught was about manifestation. And the people that I listened to, so the Wayne Dyers and the Joe Vitellis, the Esther Hicks, all those type of folks, and others as well. And I'd been teaching the stuff. But I think in a way I had a foot in both worlds. And this is the whole point of this video, was I was living part of my life that way. But then when it came down to, creating the business and finances, I was in the other side of the fence. So essentially I had a foot in both worlds. And I'm not suggesting that every one of you jump out and do this, but I think there's such power in certainty. Basically choosing which side of the fence are you going to stand on. Because to have, and this is what I'm discovering again now, is in many respects, I'm kind of, you can almost say starting over, but I mean starting a whole new chapter, starting again, I suppose you could say. And now I'm 65 as I'm starting again. Back then I was 40 something. It's when you have one foot in both sides of the fence, then I find you don't have access to the full resources of either one. And that's the thing, right? If a person chooses to live, I'm going to say, on the logic side, on the often called responsible side, then that's great, but stay there. Or do you want to live, I'll call it the spiritual side, the manifestation side, if you want to use these labels, then that's great, but then stay there. And what I'm finding even now in a greater way, because here's one of the things that's in my awareness, and it's not that it keeps me up at night, but I'm aware of it. I'm 65. And it's it's interesting, any of you folks that are somewhere in that range. And if you've noticed it, when I run into people I've worked with or somebody that I haven't seen for quite a while, the first thing that comes up is who's died lately. It's kind of it's a kind of a weird experience, but it happens. Oh, did you hear about so and so? Oh no, I didn't. Oh, geez. And like I said, I'm very thankful. I'm very healthy, but I also know I'm closer to the end than I am the beginning. And for you younger folks out there, time does go by faster. It really does. And I'm very well aware that, I'm barring anything, that kind of goes sideways. When I was 42, I guess it would be, I had a lot of years left to build this. I'm 65. 20 years? But you don't know. And then also, not even so much how long a person actually lives, but, what condition the machinery is going to be in. So I'm very well aware of how time goes by and how I don't have as much time as I used to. But I'm starting again in many ways. And I was reminded again, even just these last few days, it's kind of like the question was posed to me, which side of the fence are you going to stand on? Because you can't stand on both. You're either going to stand on that side and you're going to live from that side of, again, logical, rational, responsible. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Or you're going to choose to live on the side of the fence where you are really living entirely from everything that I've taught for the last 2 decades. You choose one, you choose the other, and then stay there. That's why for me, I did. I had my foot on the other side of the fence here this last while when I was sort of revitalizing the Healing Center and then bringing Hemisphere Learning into it and kind of, bringing in different methods of teaching and things like that. I had a foot on both sides. And it just, it doesn't feel good. I don't know how to explain it, right? But even just this last couple of days, even, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. I have to choose one or the other in my situation, right? I choose to live in the side of manifestation. I choose to live, believe, and act like everything I've taught these last 20 years is actually true. I think that's a question we all need to ask ourselves, because a lot of you that are listening to this have some, spirituality, I'll call it, in varying degrees, is to ask yourself the question, am I thinking and am I acting from the place of what I believe to be true really is? And that's a much bigger question than we realize sometimes. And so, yeah, that was just my thoughts this morning, is sort of which side of the fence. Choose one or the other, but don't choose both. And then whatever one you choose, stand there, because you're going to have to stand the test of time. So it's not like I choose this side of the fence, I choose this side of the fence, and everything just magically happens, right? See, I think that's what happens is we go on one side, and then we jump to the other side, and then jump to the other side, and jump to the other side, or we have a foot on both sides. So you're not accessing really the advantages of either one. And it's choosing one and then just saying, okay, this is where I'm standing, and I'm not moving. All right, guys, thanks. As always, share. We are all in this together. See you on the web.